let's face it, winning is fun. Playing in tournaments is fun, especially in a Fortnite way that when you win, you feel like you achieved something. So I think that's what, like, for example, when you mentioned Ninja or something, he knows that he's so good that he doesn't have to just play for fun. He can as well entertain people by showing them how good he is. So I think that's a good thing that most of the streamers going towards esport right now, because that as well boosts the popularity of esports everywhere, especially like let's say TFU or anybody else. They just playing to be better, to be showed how to play well for people who will be interested, because most of the viewers right now are very young. Like they're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They would love to be like them. So showing them that they have an option is great. And I believe we are back for match number 2.
There we go. And
Yeah,
a little bit of a dance.
exactly, showing off.
Okay, so we have Sashi, Richard, we have the Ibors duo that we mentioned a little bit earlier, and we have the Spanish Factories duo. So that are our 4 POVs for this game, and
There's
we
an early
already
contest.
see, we already see that here on Fatal Fields there is some early contest, and maybe that's why we didn't get to see the Ibors duo at all earlier. Maybe they got eliminated.
Oh, that might be, and that's a good thing. I mean, I think being like, because I know you personally that they love battlefields, and I know that they just want to show that they're not afraid. I know that we've got 8 games, so I think they just went through the game ahead and said, all right, it's just one game, we'll try it again and again.
Yeah,
If they will go, if they will be eliminated all these 4 games and they will go there in 5th game, I would say they're crazy, because I mean you will not like just repeat and hope for the best. But I'm hoping right now. I'm hoping that they will just go right now with the upper hand and show some end game gameplay for us.
Yeah, and normally when you have very few games, you cannot afford the mistakes. And as you said right here, one game is not so important. If it didn't work out, maybe it will work out right now, and maybe the other guys are just gonna give up, and that could earn them a very solid spot to land.
And that's a huge headshot.
For sure, with that heavy assault rifle, the headshots hurt a lot. And he's also got a pump, he's also got a pistol if it comes down to some close range action. But fighting in the cornfields, it's never comfortable.
And like one simple mistake in a cornfield can really cost you everything, because you can easily lose track of somebody moving around. Like right now, I don't even know where the guy is. Oh, but I think they know. And Matthews knocking out Impel and finishing them off. So that's a 1 point for them.
Now what does the duo do? Does he try to go 1v2 or pick up a card and...
There's no cards.
For real?
There's no
Okay.
cards.
Okay. That's, I have to admit, that's something I didn't know. But what I noticed on the mini-map is that a Brute landed right next to Fatal Field. So what does his duo do? He just goes for a Brute and wins the 1v2 easily. They're going to try to run away with some Shockwave Grenade right here. I think Matthews just hit himself in the cornfields. So he's going to be a little bit...
But Duo is a huge pro right now. He's just playing hide and seek with the Brute all over.
I don't think he, even with all the ammo that he has, I don't think he would be able to take out.
No, and he didn't, because he just got knocked down.
Just got knocked and killed off. That's not good at all.
And on the hand, we got Sashi being contested on Pleasant Park, so I believe there's more than 1 or 2 teams on there. And the junk rift being used so early in the game.
Yeah,
doing nothing.
Well, actually, the previous Junkrift also didn't do anything right there, but there comes the wall take, and well, we're getting a little bit of problems right here.
And
he just couldn't control the entire situation. Like Sashi trying to salvage whatever is left right here, but he's in a 1v2. He already got tagged very heavily.
And he's got no shields or anything to use, so he's got only 42 HP to work around.
Yeah, 2 Junkrifts actually used in a very inaccurate way right here in this fight, and that's also exactly how it ended up going in the previous game. Like, a lot of these Junkrifts
And it was Jacob!
Yep. There we go. Well, now they should have a pump each, at least.
At least.
So they are going to be happy. They went a little bit more aggressive, right? They eliminated a duo right off the start. They will have their loot, most likely, especially since Pleasant is still in zone. So they will still get a chance to loot whatever else is left out there. They will pick up a junk rift for themselves, most likely. They've got some stings.
Oh, they didn't. I'm surprised.
Because it was probably only one, so he wasn't so sure.
But is it more important? One junk rift, I think, would be more important than 3 stings.
Well, you're not guaranteed to hit.
Well, you're not. But it can get you out of very sticky situation as well.
Might be. But, well, it just comes down to their decision.
Exactly, yes.
They decide to just not go for it. Besnikas has got one. Maybe he picked that one up, or
Maybe.
maybe they didn't communicate and the other one is still left out there on the ground.
We'll
Because
never find out.
I'm 100% sure that Besnikas did throw a junk rift at Sashi when he was pushing him.
Yes, he did. Yes.
And then later on, Sashi's
She used one, yeah.
teammate Ben Yakutia used one, so so there should still be 2 left.
Yeah.
But
But we
he's
can
got
say
only one.
how much
Whatever.
mats it costs them. Like they have literally no mats at all, and they first zone is, and we've got some taco time going on. I bet the guys are happy. It always makes me smile, to be honest, when I see somebody dancing like that. I'm just like, it's my
Man, I bought the emote just to because, as I said, like I used to. I'm not sure if I said it on stream actually. For the last week, I did go Greasy Grove with my team. So my team was completely angry at the dancing, and I bought the emote, and I was just pissing them off in boxes all the time. So yeah, I love this dance too. It just brings a smile to my face as well. But anyway, this time they don't have as good as a loot they had in the previous game because Regent actually had like 6 shockwave grenades.
Yeah.
This time he's only got 2, so it's much less.
Yeah, and I think they ended up with 4 junk rifts as well, and I didn't see any in their head as well. So that's
true.
But anything can happen. Maybe that's the thing. Oh, and I think no, it still didn't. He just found the new junk rift. He didn't found any extra ones.
No, still, it is good enough.
Yeah.
He's got 3. Right now he's going to be pretty happy with that amount right there. And yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit more about them. They've got the loot this time. They had the zone, so they could just loot up everything else right there. They're going to be pretty comfortable. And it just probably comes down to surviving until the end game for them. Later on, they might be able to rack up some more eliminations if they once again get high ground.
Exactly.
High ground just gives you free elims all over the place, most usually. At least,
Yeah,
because in the previous game, obviously Besnikas said that he had the high ground, but he didn't really get much.
Yeah, but we can tell that people just not contesting the high ground then. Like they've got the mats, but they just don't go for it because they know that
maybe they don't actually have the mats.
Or maybe they don't have
Because
extras.
we did see that not a lot of mats was left for most people right there. So maybe that's the issue. Maybe when you want to contest at the end right there.
Oh my
it's
god, there's
just
some
too late.
very big aggression coming from. I believe I'll be not surprised if it's Mumindo.
Probably. Yeah, I think so.
Just flying around with.
Problem from the Gaspin and his teammate is they were looting Svena's factories. They went for the chair. They still went up towards the metal expedition where the bowlers used to respawn and the planes. And was it that necessary? They were a little bit too greedy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They were trying to get some extra metal from it, but the zone is not in their favor. And I think losing this time instead of going to the zone and now engaging in a fight, which probably will end up both of the teams to being knocked up. I think it was just too much of a risk. I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah, and we'll see what they figure out right here. They still have got 1 junk rift. They most likely still have some shockwaves right there. I'm not sure about the teammate.
We'll see probably in a second.
Well, yeah, but the pressure is never going to relent.
Yeah.
If it really is, Momindo and Kevin, they're also pretty annoyed right now that they cannot just continue to the zone. They want to wrap this fight up as quickly as possible, and they will start pushing.
Yeah, and
right now.
they just don't take hostages. They just go in all the way.
Actually, Dagaspin, that's not your walls. He just edited the chair walls back, but they can still be edited by his enemies. So he has to be really careful right here.
And Mumindo is, yeah, so it was Mumindo, and he's just knocked out there.
A knock, but
And,
whoa, Dagaspen! He completely surprised the enemy, and that's exactly what I was talking about. That's probably also the chair walls that everybody can edit. So
That's
Momindu
true.
thought, oh yeah, I can edit that. That's probably my wall. And Daggerspin just runs in with the tactical SMG in his hands and almost got an elim right there. He could have broken the game for Momindu and Kevin for sure, just
easily.
like that.
But to be honest, if I were in a place of Momindu, I would think the same, that it's my wall rather than it's a chair wall. Like, in the heat of the game, when you being attacked or being the attacker, you don't really think, oh my god, that's the wall, like, I have to be careful. But well, luckily for them, and everything ended up very well. They've got the 2 elims, they went for this early aggression again, and well, it just paid on them.
Just look at this. An amazing position. The highest peak available in the zone right now. They have a mech. They probably, yeah, they do have quite a bit of mats right here. 1,000 wood for both of them, and then a couple hundred brick and metal. That's probably more than they had the last game, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I just noticed that I think the metal expedition ended up pretty well, but for Slavgent, because Momindu right now is sitting on 1,000 metal. So that's huge for them, because metal is, especially with this 40% less getting, like, the materials getting slower, it's huge because it's so hard to get metal on 1,000.
Yeah, for sure, and they will be pretty happy after that fight. I mean, it did take a little bit of time. I think more than they were happy to actually spend right there, but they did end up getting the double elim. So
yeah, and they just see the pure hatred toward the mech.
I mean, they are themselves a mech player actually. I remember, like, for some qualifications, I think it was for V4 actually. Momindu said in the Pro Polish Discord that whoever uses a mech is he doesn't like whoever uses a mech, and then he used it himself.
Well, that's like.
And right now, once again, in the first game, they use the mech themselves. So I don't think that's hatred. I think they just realize how strong it is, and they don't want to, like, leave it standing for anybody else but themselves.
And now we've got a zone, I think, going more towards the Pleasant. Oh no, it's the zone between the
Pleasant and Viking, I think. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Something like that.
Because it's like oh, there's somebody. Okay, I was just surprised why they sitting so far away from the.
2 mechs on that hill actually, where Monster and Richard is. A little bit lower, there is another mech.
Oh my god!
Right below them, and it is a very bad zone. I have to say it right away. There's 2 big hills in the zone. There's just gonna be moving up and down the hills, and it's gonna use up a lot of the mats for a lot of these teams, and we can see probably we'll get to see a lot of teams just falling off on the rotations right here in this kind of zone.
Yeah, and Momindu again, they just don't take hostages. They just go in all the time, and well, probably. Like,
they are dealing a lot of damage, that for sure. They're this far. They are doing much better in this fight, but we'll see. It doesn't
and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, obviously, this is Greasy Grove, so there's gonna be taco time, and you don't really want this happening in your fights. But the enemies escape to the low ground, which, in my opinion, when they had the high ground, is not the greatest idea. They just give the control away to Momindu and Kevin, but that's a 1-for-1. What is gonna Kevin do in this situation? He gets to finish first, and his teammate is still up and standing.
I think he's just afraid of picking him up.
Yeah, but it's very important that he doesn't get finished.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, he just wants to stay as a duo later on. He doesn't probably want to pick him up right now, because that would be a clear suicide, but he also doesn't want to leave him to be finished by the enemy.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we've got Jacob and Beznikos, the winner of the previous game.
The rotating, like, they're not the latest rotators, but they are rotating pretty late, in my opinion, actually.
And it's very, very weird position for them. It's under the hill. I bet they know that there's a guy with the mechs, or at least with 1 or 2 mechs there. So they could easily be just kept on a choke here.
Yeah, it is overall a very risky position. Like, it can be abused from above, from below, but if nobody gets the idea to focus down on you, then you're in the safest position ever. Like, but this all just goes down to the decisions that the other players make. nothing is in your hands actually in a position like that. So for me, I would never go for a position like this, but if it works out, it's perfect.
Yeah, and in the meantime we've got a Richard who just stomps around with the Brute, and well, they just don't afraid. I think they just, right now with the Mozart, they know they've got 2 mechs, they've got a very good position on the hill. Let's just make some aggression. I don't know if he sees that guy. Oh,
where did he come from
I
actually?
have no idea, he just appeared from nowhere.
Oh, he's in a very bad position right now. What? The bubble is actually perfect for Mozart and
Yeah.
Richard because they get into the bubble and nobody's going to destroy their mech. But that jumping was a little bit unnecessary in my opinion. Well,
Yeah.
obviously nobody has that mech perfectly trained or whatever because you don't get that on Arena, and I don't think that Richard and Mozart actually decided to play the regular, the casual playlist just to prepare for this tournament. I think they just went full try-hard.
Oh my god, I feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah, but they're still having a lot of trouble finishing him off.
Yeah.
And I think somebody was lying there on the ground, so I think he might have got knocked by a different team.
Oh.
So they spent so much time, resources, health on that Brute most importantly, and they got nothing for that. And Jacob did get a limb.
Right.
I did see that in the kill feed. I'm not sure who was the guy that he eliminated right here, but that's another point for Jacob and because they got a victory royale in the previous game. They're doing fine in this one. They're still alive, and they are getting the elims. They are indeed playing a little bit more aggressively, as they said they wanted
Exactly,
to.
I was going to point out that they've got the pump, so they keep their word. If they got the pump, they're going to play more aggressive, and they do that. In the meantime, there's some stinky action and minigun. That's a good combo from Nova. And will he finish there?
No, able to get the elimination just yet. There's some explodes also flowing in from some other team. Yeah, I feel pretty bad for the other guys that are getting spammed so much, but that's the situation. That's also what we mentioned in the previous game. Like, if somebody focuses you down, it's more than likely that 2 or 3 or more teams are just going to start spamming you at the same time.
And I don't blame them. Like, if I see somebody in trouble, I would love the piece of cake as well.
There's a chance that you're going to get the element.
Exactly, it just takes one tap, it just takes one hit, and that's all. Like, you will get the aim. So I think everybody's just waiting for the occasion just to try to do the sneak attack and try to somehow get it out, like, from there. Because usually people don't trying to defend themselves from all the sides. They only defend themselves from the side they get attacked from.
Yeah,
so
you can surprise them.
Exactly, and especially when they trying to edit walls and go behind, they don't usually cover themselves from every side. So it's just easy to just wait, and then just to use when you have an occasion, just use it very well. And in the meantime, Besnikos and Jacob, I was saying that their position was pretty, like, it was very risky, but it just paid them really nicely.
Work out. I mean, the Brutes just focused on something completely different. Like, we're just flying around on weird spots on the map. But
in the meantime, Richard is knocking out the Cookie, which is one of the, I think, one of the biggest Polish streamers in Poland. I mean, not the biggest, but he's quite huge in Poland on Twitch.
Not the biggest for sure, but one of the biggest.
Yeah.
We can definitely say. But right now, finally, the Meg just decided to focus on Jacob and Besnikos, and
in the meantime, Besnikos
got knocked out, and he got even finished. And Jacob only has 2 mini shields left, so it is going to be very problematic. And Richard and Mozart know that he's alone right there. They just throw down a bubble shield on top of themselves, and they just want to run this guy down. That's very unlucky. He just wants to survive. He just wants to go for the placement points at this stage. But he's so pressured.
And it's Pyko and Nova with 3 eliminations, so they're doing pretty well. Even though somebody stole the kill from, the elimination from them previously, then they still managed to somehow have it 3 eliminations. So that's a good points for them on the leaderboards. And I think that's what I'm saying. They're just waiting for somebody to start.
Cookie got knocked out and finished off because Tyrant is his duo, and right now he goes down without a knock. He just did.
But in the meantime, Tyrant as well just took somebody out.
Does get an eliminate right there, and I think he also eliminated with a Junkrat a load earlier in the kill feed too. So, yeah, it looked pretty good for them. They're getting
Yeah.
a couple of points, and most likely they did get the first placement points too. That's
Yeah,
2 points for the
yes.
top 25 with 29 people. We can safely assume that they did get the placement points right here.
But Richard and Mozart, they did loads of aggression. They tried to get the elm, but still the materials not in their favor again.
No, and they were playing with the brute too for so
Exactly.
long, and they still end up with no mats at all. That's insane.
I wonder what happened. I wonder if they just didn't really farm and hoped for the LMs, or I don't know.
Maybe that's why they chased that guy around like a freak with the brute a little bit earlier.
Maybe because we've got a Pyko here with 2,000
Yeah. That's
materials.
exactly what I wanted to say. Like, we didn't get to see people like these in first game at all. And I expected there to be at least a couple of duos like that, farmed up perfectly and just playing safely, just saving up the mats. That's probably what I would have gone for if I was playing these games. But there was no one like that, like no one at all. And
Yeah.
right now we finally get to see a duo.
And
like
Nova,
this,
Nova and
yeah.
Pyko just knocking down extra players. So playing safe. Oh, now that's a huge.
That's the mats that they're looking for.
Yeah, that's how it was. Yeah.
That was a junk rift. But where did he escape? Did they actually not want to chase him at all?
I don't believe so. I mean, they got the mats. They've got the 400, 400. Now they're
Yeah, that's
splitting.
not bad.
So
That's
uh,
not bad amount.
in the meantime, Natix having some trouble. His teammate is down, and he's only on 27 HP. So 2 free ticks from the zone right now, and But
do
he will
have the
pick
time.
them, yeah.
They will be able to
Yeah.
pick themselves out, but still, that both of them will be on 30
Yeah.
HP. It's not looking good for them. But the guy that got the knockout on them was IG Dex, and he's also a very popular player out there.
yeah, we have to remind somebody who turned up just the stream that this is a casual duo, so there is no moving zone. That's why everybody has time to pick themselves up. Because the zones are not moving around, they just
it's
going
just
be smaller and smaller.
And it takes a lot of time actually. Each one of these zones is about a minute long, and yeah, that's just the old school environment, I like to call it, because that's what the tournaments looked like back in the days before the moving zones were introduced. Oh my god. Oh,
And
that's what's
good,
looking very
yeah.
bad for Cody. But he gets
Well,
the
he
impulse
just went up and down.
Oh, and he can actually...
Is he going for the?
too.
I think he is.
He can do that. He can do that very safely. He's in
Easily.
the zone.
In the meantime, Richard, they having a problem. They having trouble. I think the junk rift was dropped on them.
Yeah, I think Watson might have been knocked out too. Not too sure about that, but I think that right next to Richard was someone on the ground before he got knocked down by that junk rift falling next to him.
Oh, no, it is Mozart. So much as Mozart is still alive.
Okay, so they both are safe, and they're playing really aggressively, and like from the observator's point of view, oh my God,
that's
the
huge.
perfect junk rift. It didn't work as intended. Like,
well,
it didn't smash him, but
It
did
still
break down the
yeah, it
build.
still worked.
It still worked, right? And yeah, talking about back to Monster and Richard, like from an observator's point of view, it is really chaotic. Like what they're doing, they're just jumping here and there and pushing and running away and just jumping around with a brute and.
And because you picked his mate up, they made a high ground. They've got a rocket launcher.
But it's still not gonna be easy. Oh my god, what a laser!
Laser.
2 headshots with the golden star.
Yeah, poor Nova just got destroyed.
Completely obliterated.
Oh, and
Another
then Dex
shockwave.
just...
A lot of people actually going into the zone thanks to that. Oh, he's gonna get one of the knocked out people out there. Obviously, that was not his credit. Oh, that's a very good idea.
Oh!
He will win the game with that
That's
rocket.
huge!
I think it might have been a double elim. I think those
I
were the
think
guys
it-
that were spamming him with the
I
minigun.
I believe so as well. That was just... I'm amazed how people can make decision in a split second. Like, he knew he's got, 3 seconds, he has 30 HP, and he just went like, alright, I have to just risk it. Shoot the rocket launcher in this spot, exactly in the right spot where the guys
But
were.
that was just like right in the middle of the zone.
Yeah.
And this is also something that people might have forgotten, or some people that are playing in this tournament are not as like old-time players of Fortnite. They're not playing since season 1, 2, 3, and whatnot, and they don't know what to do in these late situations. Also, we've not seen a single heal off this far.
Yes.
Maybe Beznikos was healing up a little bit on that high ground a little bit earlier in the first match, but it
We'll never find out.
wasn't such a big heal off because the other team wasn't healing at all.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
other team was just looking for him. They had no heals. So we don't see the duos just stacking up on heals, getting med kits and campfires to just wait it out at the end. But what you would usually do back in the old tournaments, you would walk out of the zone because it is obvious. Like the zone ends there, everybody's going to be shooting when they run out of heals. So you would just run out to try and be like 2 or 3 tiles away from where it ended from the middle. And that's something that Dex's enemies didn't do.
Yeah.
And they were just staying in the most obvious place. They weren't building around themselves. They just got hit with the rocket.
I think it's just a thinking.
Easy.
Like I think it's just the way that they're not used to it. Like they never occurred to them that, oh my god, that's so obvious. Like we shouldn't have done that. For them, maybe they had some like plan. I don't know. Maybe there was something different going in their heads, and they just didn't think it through. Maybe they thought that, all right, we've got this. Like it's 2 of us, 1 of him. We should be fine. But well, it turns out differently.
Yeah. And GG's definitely to
Yeah,
Dex.
GG.
Actually, his teammate got knocked out a lot earlier.
Yeah, that's
just around when like 20 people were left.
Exactly.
So he was playing alone for quite a bit of time. It was not just a split second. Was not just for the final like 3 or 4 placements. It was actually a little bit longer, and he managed that perfectly. He fell into a pit with into a box with 2 people with miniguns in hand, and he still managed to walk out of that. He knocked himself into the zone with a shockwave grenade, still managed to come back out of that and win the game.
Yeah, he deserves. Let's face it, he deserved the win.
We saw a lot of like turnarounds happening, like that teammate pickup, as you said, and then getting the high ground. But then that high ground got contested. Then one of them got eliminated, and that's what Dexter jumped on top of.
Yeah.
That was one of the
and we've got
the guys lying on the
replays
ground
of
right
the
there.
game.
And he got the RPG from him, and that led him to a victory. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate right here. Oh, that was a full duo actually. It was not.
So it was a third. So they just got third partied.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was the other guy that ran away from duo and match.
Yeah.
Because he had the same.
Oh, that's the situation with Slavgent. I mean, and
this could have been so good. I mean,
yeah.
just a little bit better aim, and it would have broken the game for Mino and Kevin. They probably would have been low on health for a long time. It would have held them up in the zone a little bit longer. The other teams would have probably gatekeeped them. And instead, it just worked out.
And then a big chase from Richard.
Yeah, the animal plays, but just look at that. They still had over 1,000 maths. And later, they were in the Brute all the time, and they just ended up having 200 wood each.
I don't know what they've done with it.
What happened? Where did they use it all up? I have no idea.
But right now, basically right now, they've got 400, and so out of 1,500 mats, they went to 800 in a Brute.
And then later on, they went down to 400.
Yeah, and they've got 200 right now, so...
How? And they also had the bubble shields, so like they didn't even have to build around so much.
And that's the tank.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
That was very well.
And the laser right now, that was just very alive.
Yeah, one of these guys. Oh, that's from Nova's perspective. Definitely didn't work out too good for them.
Oh, we will know what happened. So it was one guy.
This was just one guy, and it wasn't the guys that were spamming with the minigun. They were some Arctic skins.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dex very well played.
Yeah, exactly. Congrats to him. 10 points for him, and we can see now.
A known player, a good player, definitely well deserved right here in this game, and well fought in the final moment, as you said. Good adaptation to the final moments. Right
so
here.
2 out of the 8 games, 2 more before the break. I would love to see the scoreboard right now. I would love to see how the points distributed overall, because we've seen some teams top 1 like Jacob and Biznikos, and then they performed well in the last game as well. I wonder if they kept on the first place or somebody just boomed with
They didn't get so far into the placements, I think. They got like the first placement points for sure, but I don't think
But
they were in the
I
top
think
10.
they had like 4 or 5 eliminations as
But
well.
they did have at least 3 because
Yeah.
Jacob had 3. I don't think we saw Beznikos throughout the.
I don't believe
I
we
don't
did.
think we had the camera on him after Pleasant Park, after
Yeah.
the landing
So
spot.
I wonder how it right now it ends up. Like I wonder if, for example, Slavjan Momindo and Kevin, if they are close to the top 10, or if they, because in the last game I
They
believe
should still be.
I think they dropped out very early. I think after the fight in retail. In retail. I think
Greasy.
was the Greasy.
Yeah.
In Greasy.
The tackle.
I'm sorry.
That's-
Yeah. Yeah, in Greasy, I think they got eliminated just afterwards. So I wonder how it's all now just end up, like how it looks, how it all looks like. Sorry, I just couldn't
Yeah.
get the words out.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to see the standings, the scoreboards. I'm wondering when we'll get to see that. Maybe after the first half of the games. Maybe it's the element of suspense.
Exactly.
Like you're counting. Imagine being a player right there on the venue. Like you're counting your points. And you're like,
1, 2, 3.
okay, am I gonna be in? Am I not gonna be in? Maybe it's just another psychological